When I first started working as a freelancer, I had this picture in my head. Wake up whenever I want, make cool stuff, and be creative for a living. And technically, that's true. But what nobody really explains is how much freelancing forces you to confront yourself, your discipline, your insecurities, your ego. So today, I'm gonna take you guys through some of the lessons I've learned in the past few years working as a freelance creative. When you're a freelancer, no one tells you when to start, no one tells you what to prioritize, and no one tells you when to stop. And if you don't figure those things out for yourself, then your day will just kind of disappear. So one of the first lessons that I learned as a freelance creative was to start planning and structuring my days. I started planning out my content in advance instead of just winging it, which meant writing scripts, blocking out shoot days, knowing exactly what's getting posted and when. I also built an editing routine, specific hours, specific deliverables, and there's no I'll do it later or I'll get to it tomorrow. I also set clear work hours, which for me is more of just like a cutoff point. As a freelancer, if you don't have a cutoff point, you're pretty much always working. If you're working late hours into the night, you're working early mornings, there's never a time when you're really off. And I learned the hard way that if you keep going like that, you're gonna burn out really fast. So I set a cutoff time of 10:30 p.m. No work after 10:30 unless it's extremely urgent. And just recently, I started writing a daily non-negotiables list, which for me is just 4 or 5 things for that day that must get done. So for example, my list for today is film 3 lessons YouTube video, which we're doing right now. Edit New Era BTS reel, so I gotta edit that after I film this. That's going up on this weekend. Post 3 trial reels. I started posting a lot of trial reels recently and my views have taken off. So if you're a content creator on Instagram, I recommend posting trial reels. And if you would want me to make a separate video on that, I can 100% make that. I'm still new to trial reels, but after I learn a little bit more, I will make that video. And finally, I got a leg day and run 3.5 kilometers, which is my exercise for today. If I get those things done, I can count my day as productive. These things aren't that glamorous or exciting, I know, but pre-planning my content, setting work hours, and having a daily non-negotiables list, these are things that create structure for me, and that structure brings stability. And that stability is very important. Stability is what's gonna keep you, your work, and your creativity from burning out. We're on the way to Planet Fitness right now. We're gonna go hit legs. But while we're driving there, I wanna talk to you guys about lesson number 2. When I started freelancing, I thought all that matters is that my videos are good. If I was good enough and skilled enough at making videos, then that would be enough. But here's something that I learned pretty quickly. The quality of your work is very important. The quality of you, if that makes sense, is more important than the quality of your work. People want to work with someone that they like. It sounds simple and quite obvious, but I think this is something that creatives don't really realize. You gotta remember that clients aren't just hiring you for that one deliverable. They're choosing who they're gonna be texting, having meetings with, and spending long shoot days with. So if you're talented, but you're difficult to work with, or you're unreliable, or just straight up rude, if that's the case, believe me, they will find someone else. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be the loudest person in the room, or you have to put on some over-the-top fake personality, but you gotta be someone that people would enjoy working with. Be a professional, be on time, communicate clearly, and make the process easy for your client. If a client likes you and they enjoy working with you and you do good work, they will come back. Because I guarantee you most businesses would rather work with people that they know and trust and do good work rather than taking a gamble on someone who might be more talented but is harder to work with. Your skill and your talent will get you in the door, but your likability and your professionalism are what's gonna keep you there. And this is something that every creative has to learn, whether you're a freelancer or you work with a company or you're working on big movie sets or whatever. This is something that everybody has to learn, and I think it's one of the most important lessons, even if you're not working in the creative industry. This is something that is important to learn in general. All right, we're back home. I didn't really film in the gym much because, to be honest with you guys, I don't really like to film in the gym. I like to just go to the gym and focus on my workout. And it's also my way of just having some time off of work during the day. However, if you guys would like to see some gym content in the vlogs, then I'm more than willing to film in the gym. Just let me know in the comments. But yeah, this last lesson is something that I'm not proud to admit. It took me years before I learned this. and it's probably cost me a lot of money, but you live and you learn, right? When you first start, every videographer is obsessed with just making their videos look good. And I was the same. I thought if my videos looked good, then I would get all the clients, that's all that mattered, right? I hate to admit, but it took me years to realize that any videographer can make a good looking video for a client. But the ones that involve their clients are the ones that make a difference. If you can add to the creative flow and build a collaborative relationship with your client, then you stand out significantly. I've had clients and shoots where I showed up, I just did what was asked, filmed the video, edited it, and it was done. I've also worked with clients where we're always bouncing ideas off each other, or we're coming up with new shots on the spot. And those are always the longest lasting relationships. Because when you build that collaborative relationship with your client, you stop being, the guy with a camera that they hire sometimes, and you become a part of their creative process. You become their go-to guy. As freelance creatives, it is extremely important for us to build those long-lasting relationships with our clients. And if you don't, and you're just hopping from client to client, you're always going to be searching for the next client, searching for the next paycheck, and that is an endless loop you don't want to get stuck in. And take it from me, the random guy you're watching on the internet, I've been on both ends of the spectrum, and you definitely want to build long-lasting relationship with your clients. It's just so much better off in the long run. I'm ashamed that it took me so long to figure that out, but ever since I did, everything changed. Okay, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go inside. Freelancing gave me a lot of freedom, but it also taught me to build structure in my life. And it taught me how to become someone people would enjoy working with. And it also taught me to build relationships, long-lasting, meaningful ones, with the people that I work with. And to be honest, I'm still learning how to balance all of that. I think it's an everyday process, and it's like a never-ending story, but I think that's the best part. If you're a freelance creative who's also trying to figure this whole system out, I hope this video helped you in some way. And if you're on a similar journey to me, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm growing my business and my content along with myself, and I'm gonna continue sharing what I'm learning while doing so in my day-to-day life. So make sure you follow along. I'll see you in the next video.